Some keyline sales on the manufacturer representative for UPPA PEX, and Brad and Tim. The way I look at it is we're not going to go after each other. The sandbox is big enough, just like the contractors. It's all about business and working together as a team. Tim and I, whenever on jobs and an engineer has a question about his product, I'll reach out to him or the corporate office and say, hey, I'm not going to answer for a different manufacturer. I'm going to reach out to the rep or the regional and then let them answer that question. So my point is, we're working together to grow the category. Let's work it together as a team instead of fighting each other and trying to steal each other's business. There's a lot of good information that Brad had mentioned that's going to be redundant, and I know we're limited on time, so I'm just going to kind of get to specifics. UPPA is manufactured in the Minnesota, so it's USA. They're different process, like Brad and Tim had mentioned, when it comes to the cross-linking. UPPA is the Engel method, which is the PEX-A, so it's a memory. That's what we're relying when we make our connections. So with the UPPA system, the fittings are always going to be larger than the tube. Okay, so we're relying on that Engel method, the PEX-A, the memory, where we have a tool. We're going to have a ring that we're going to slide over the tube. We have a tool that's going to expand both the ring and the tube together. So that what we're going to do is we're going to insert the fitting inside of the tube, and because of the tube having the memory being a PEX-A, it's going to go back to its original shape and form. Okay, this is the tool right here. We partnered up with Milwaukee. Depending on the pipe size that you're working with, you're going to have different expander heads. So we have a tool that's going to do half, 3/4, and 1 inch. Then we have a tool in the middle that's going to do the larger sizes from 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, and then we have a third tool that's going to do the 2.5 up to the 3 inch. So with the tool, depending on whatever pipe size we're working with, this is a 1/2 inch expander head. I'm going to put it on the tool here. And what's going to happen is when you pull the trigger, the fingers are going to expand. So when you cut the tube, it's a regular plastic tube cutter, nothing special. You're going to cut the tubing. This is a reinforcement ring that's going to slide over the tube. And what we're going to do is we're going to expand the ring and the tube. We're going to take it from the tip here to the back and just expand it twice. So you pull the trigger. As you're pulling the trigger, the expander head is automatically rotating. I already hit the back of the expander head. After expanding it to the back, I take the fitting and I just pop it in there. Remember I said the memory, it always wants to go back to its original shape and form. So it's in right now. The only way that it's going to come out is literally cutting the ring and the tube to get the fitting out. Okay. When it comes to the accessories, whatever material you're transitioning from, we offer different fittings. So if it's Aquatherm, if it's CPVC, if it's metallic, if you're sweating from copper to PEX, there's an adapter that we offer from whatever material that is over to PEX, the PEX-A. We also offer the ball valves. Instead of sweating the adapters on a ball valve, they're already made with the PEX-A adapters on there. We also have some of the manufacturers that are out there that manufacture the shower valves. Now that PEX is being common out in the industry, they already have the PEX adapters, either A, B, or C, already on the shower valves. So instead of the contractor having to do 2 extra steps and sweating the adapters on the actual shower valve, you can actually go directly to the shower valve with the PEX piping. And that'll be both A, B, and C. One of the things that I caution the contractors, because there's the A, B, and C out there, when you order your valves, make sure you let the distributor know it's either a PEX-A or an F1960, because sometimes they're not aware of what's out there, so they may ship out, say, like a PEX-B or C adapter, and then they have a PEX-A, which is not going to grip onto the fitting on the valve. Okay. We offer tees in plastic as well as brass. The way I look at it is there's no wrong way, there's no right way. Like Tim was saying, especially the contractors that are new to PEX, I always tell them, The same way that you would run your copper trunk and branch, do it with the PEX. And then what's going to happen is your guys are going to get a little creative, and we have a catalog of different multi-port fittings. And like what Tim was saying, instead of having a whole bunch of T's right next to each other and piping in the middle, this right here, you're just bringing all your T's together. So it's just a multi-port fitting. This can be concealed in the walls. It can be in the ceiling. We have different inlets, different outlets. So whatever configuration you want to go with, it's your call as a contractor. And like I said earlier, when it comes to the different types of PEX manufacturers, I always tell the customer, whatever works for you. Okay, there's no wrong way, there's no right way. Whatever support the manufacturer is going to give you. If you're in a jam, you call someone, they get back to you right away. That's the brand that you want to go with. Okay. The other thing we mentioned in the presentation, Tim had mentioned, is you want to use the characteristics of the PEX tubing. So instead of having an elbow fitting in here, we want to eliminate it. So use the characteristics of the tubing. We have what's called a bend support. So instead of putting a elbow there, it's a connection. As you can, the demo that I did, as you can see, it doesn't take a long time to make the connection, but this is just eliminating that two-step process. A lot of the contractors, what they're doing, especially in downtown LA, is they're prefabbing their valves and their fixtures either in the garage or at the shop. So what's coming out to the job site is already a prefab, say like a shower valve like this, and they're just going in there and they're mounting it onto the framing, and then you have another set of guys that are coming in and they're routing the piping and they're making the connection right here. Okay. One thing I want to mention real quick is that, and I'm sure Zern and Viega do the same thing as well, but we offer a training class. It's about an hour and 30 minutes. We'll go to the job site, we'll go to the distributor. What we want to do is we want to make sure that the installer is installing the product according to the manufacturer's recommendation. If something goes wrong, it's the reflection on us. Okay, it's a perception. If it leaks, its PEX is not good. It leaks. So, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of times when I go out to a job and there's leaks, it's unfortunately installation error. Okay, so that's the importance of doing the training. After we do the training, we have a card that we hand out. And I always tell the contractors, whatever, not every manufacturers are created equal. Okay, so whatever I train you guys on UPPA or PEX A, and you guys happen to do another job, a different job, with a PEX B or a PEX C, don't apply my installation methods with the other manufacturer. Okay, keep them separate, because there may be some things that are part of my installation that doesn't apply to the other manufacturer. Okay, so with the questionnaire and then the card that we hand the contractor, we have a pocket installation book. It's small enough to put in their back pocket. We used to have a bigger installation book that we found out that after doing the training class, this was chucked in the back of the truck. It was out of mind, out of sight. So we figured if we went with the smaller one, it's a lot easier to carry with with yourself on the job site. There's so much information in here, there's not enough time to go through it. We always tell the contractor, after the training, do us a favor, just go page by page. The reason for that is the inspector has a question, and it never fails. The inspector is asking about a certain installation, unfortunately the installer doesn't have the book. So like I always tell the contractor, it's going to go the inspector's way. If you have the book, at least you can tell Mr. or Mrs. Inspector, the reason why I did it this way is because I did it as per page 43, as per the manufacturer. Okay, if you have this during the inspection, a lot of times the inspector is going to take a look at it and says if that's what the manufacturer says, then that's fine. Okay, a couple things that are very important when it comes to sizing the PEX piping. This is what's called an LA City Research Report. I always get a lot of new installers that they'll ask me, which PEX should I use? I always tell them, go to the LA City website, and if the manufacturer that you're thinking that you're going with has an LA City research report, that's the one that you should be using. Okay, the reason why is that nowadays you're getting all these PEX manufacturers that are coming in, especially when you have a contractors from a different state or even from a different city where the sizing is different. So inside of this LA City research report, and this is going to apply to all the PEX manufacturers, we're going to have tables on the inside. And one of the page here is going to be for your residential light commercial applications. Okay. Long story short, you're going to lose some fixture units when it comes to the LA City sizing. If you're sizing it as per manufacturer's recommendation, you may pick up more fixture units. And this is when Tim mentioned about using more 3/4 inch. So if you're going to a shower valve, the rule of thumb, there should be no more than a foot of 1/2 inch from the fixture. So that means when I'm looking at the tables, sizing for a shower valve or a lab, I may have to come down to that fixture with 3/4 inch and then transition from 3/4 to 1/2 inch. Okay? So you're going to have a table on the inside. Here, the first page is going to be for your residential light commercial. And how do I know what is considered light commercial? It's going to be anything where you have 1.5 inch pipe and down. Anything 2 inch and higher, you're going to go to plan check. So by you piping a house, custom house, light commercial application, if you go off of this table here, you don't have to go to plan check. If you're using anything larger than 1.5 inch, say 2 and 3 inch, you're going to have on the other page, which is uniform friction loss. Okay, this is the engineered way. So when you're using larger piping, 2 and above, you're going to have to go through plan checks. And one of the things I ask the engineer of record is when you're doing your design, especially in LA, I want you to copy and paste these tables onto your drawings so that when you go through plan check, the plan checker is going up, looking in his computer, he's going to recognize these tables because it's their tables that they created are on the drawings. A lot of engineers, what they do is they'll create their own tables. Okay, and what's going to happen is the plan checker is going to question. He's going to say, "How did you come up with this? Do the math." Okay, so it's just a lot easier, you know, going off of the research report. Anywhere outside of the city of LA, like say Long Beach, Beverly Hills, it's going to be the manufacturer's recommendation. Okay, so just to make it easy with UPPA, if you go to our website, we have a calculator, and then you just put in the pressure loss, your building, you know, PSI, and it does all your calcs, hydrocalcs, and then it'll give you your PSI for 100 foot. And then it's going to print out the tables for the hot, the cold, and the return. Once again, you hit print, or you can email that to you, and then, like I said to the engineer, copy and paste those tables onto your drawings so that if the plan checker goes on the website or wants to check the math, at least they're matching up to each other. Okay? Couple things I just want to just cover here real fast. The PEX, it's CTS. So whatever accessory the installer is using for copper, okay, you're going to use the same accessories. Okay, just make sure that whatever accessories that are being used, if it's metal, that it's not jagged, that it's not biting into the tubing. The nice thing about PEX piping is instead of using metal accessories, which are going to be more expensive compared to plastic, this is just another way to bring down the cost, is by using the plastic accessories. The other thing is when it comes to terminating with the PEX, see this a lot where it's the PEX in the walls and then you're terminating with the copper. You can also terminate out of the wall with the PEX piping. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It really depends on, you know, the contractor and the developer. So, you know, once again, not enough time to go over, you know, a full presentation. If you like, I'm available to do lunch and learns at your shops. Another thing with UPPA is if you guys have a project, we can send the drawings back to the factory, either CAD or PDF, and then they'll actually send you back a design in PEX piping. They'll give you a bill of materials. They'll give you everything that you need so that you don't have to worry about figuring out the sizing and, you know, what part numbers I need for the PEX piping. With that being said, you know, like Tim and Brad had mentioned, these are your 3 most popular manufacturers. You know, all of us are available to support and help you guys out. Any questions that you guys have, you know, we're more than happy to help the process of you guys using PEX in the future. With that being said, thank you very much for your time.